and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky, and I'm here today with...
Justin DeClue.
And Colin Cunningham.
And what are we talking about today? Well,
today we're talking about a movie that is very representative to all three of us who are working actors in the big city of L.A. Rice Girl.
Who are very white as well. Rice Girl. So...
I've kind of heard of this movie. Like, I saw
this is one that has been haunting my letterbox for like years.
Okay.
And every time I would clean it up, I'd be like, what is Rice Girl? And I click on it and I'm like, looks bad. All right, I'll have to do it when my pick comes up next time. And I guess like a phantom, it didn't attack until this week where it's like, ha-ha!
Yeah, like I feel like you've been like threatening to do this on one of your podcasts. And which one? It's going to be this one because it's a bad movie podcast.
Well, I looked at the poster and I was like, oh, right. Like, I know this.
Because we talked about it before.
All the stars are here. Martin Cove, Dean Haglund, Joe Estevez.
All the stars are badly photoshopped into this poster.
Yeah.
Low-res Photoshop.
I think it came up when we were talking about Joe Estevez on some episode. And so you're like, what? He's in this movie called like Rice Girl. What is that? And then we're like, is it a web series? No, it's a movie that maybe they turned into a web series.
Maybe it turned into a web series.
And then later she has a new one now called Redneck Neighbor.
So I was a little disappointed that this wasn't a movie that had like new footage inserted into it. Like I was rubbing my hands together where it was like 2014 and the movie starts. I was like, this was not shot in 2014. No, it was shot in 2004. And I know this because at one point they drive by a Sopranos billboard. Oh no, 2002.
I saw a Signs billboard.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan Signs.
And I believe the Signs come out in 2002.
I think so,
it did.
Right?
So that's the right year.
Wow. Okay, so it's that much older.
It was shot the same year probably as Inland Empire.
Yeah, like a fine wine. It had to get perfect before it could be released.
Because we just watched Inland Empire the day before we watched this, and I was like, this had to be inspired by that movie.
No,
I think it's just a coincidence.
Yeah,
it was inspired by one thing, Benny Hill.
They're shot on like the same cameras.
Yeah, true. Except they used tripods.
Inland Empire was shot on digital. I have bad news for you. This was shot on 35 millimeter.
No. Oh,
God.
Yes, absolutely.
You're kidding.
Yep. It has that like late 90s, early 2000s. We shot on film look to it,
and then transferred to video.
Probably, yeah, and finished on video.
Finished on video, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. God, wow. So this has better production value than Inland Empire.
Sure. I mean, if that's how you want to look at it.
That's how, yeah,
it probably costs the same amount.
So this is a film, boy. I'm afraid to maybe talk about this person because I don't want them.
Cheryl Ling is her name?
Is it Catling? Yes.
Catling, yeah. It's different on the poster.
I mean, there's a lot of different things. There's like a different director named at the beginning of this one.
Oh my gosh.
So Catling is a actor who's been in Hollywood for a while, and she wanted to make a movie that she starred in and wrote. And so this is the movie that came out. Do not look her up on social media right now.
Oh, okay.
You may be a fan of a certain president-elect.
Well, in her defense, I didn't... Well, I thought maybe she was playing a character.
No.
I don't know. But yeah, so... She looks pretty much the same as she did in this movie.
Now? For legal reasons, I will say yes. She does.
So she's like a very, very busty Chinese woman. To the point where I'm like, okay, those... there's no way they could possibly be real because humans aren't shaped 3D, that way.
You'd be like, yeah, right out the screen at you.
She's like the Chinese Angeline.
Sure.
Yeah, you know what? That is a good example. People may not know Angeline, someone with billboards and large busts.
Who's like an LA personality.
Yes.
This is like, she moved to LA like years ago. She's just sort of like
Angeline is, yeah.
Angeline, yeah. If you go to LA, you'd see
she drives a very...
like pink Corvette.
Yep.
She kind of still dresses like Barbie. She dresses all in pink.
She's still alive?
She's still alive. She's still
Yes.
I thought
around. She's got to be like in her late 60s at this point. But
I
she's
think she's
older
older
than
than
that,
that.
yeah.
she's still dressing like, some
I believe
18-year-old
some people
blonde
have
bimbo.
tried to like cast her and stuff.
Yeah.
And the
She
issue
was
is
in,
that they've been like, she's a terrible actress.
She was in
So
Earth Girls
bad.
Are Easy, if you recall,
Yes.
for one scene.
She's 74 years old right now.
Oh my God. So she's known for, if you go to LA, you see all these billboards around Hollywood, like, hire me in your movies, Angeline.
So she has money to have a billboard.
Or-
I mean, maybe Kat Ling should have done that. I mean, okay. A lot of semi-famous people are in this movie.
Man,
And
that is a stretch.
So she's got to have something. Maybe she's just friends with all these people from like acting classes. Like this is like a autobiographical kind of movie. It's a comedy. I think it's great that she wrote. I thought she directed it. Probably best she didn't.
She seems like the type that would just know these people from like social.
or they know her,
or
and
that
maybe they love
she
her.
put. I mean, April is being very generous.
But why else would they be in this movie?
Money.
Yeah,
They
I don't
probably paid them.
That's the other thing. How the fuck did this? Like, where did the money come from?
Where does
right?
anything? I mean, she made this one thing, and that's pretty much it. Like,
She has a new series on Prime.
you say new.
Well, I don't know if it's new.
Not
it's
on
not-
Prime, on Tubi, right? The
I don't know. I thought it said Prime.
My
remember
redneck
when
neighbor.
Yeah.
Which one of
Prime-
the images, I kid you not, is Eric Roberts, who of course is in the movie. How did they get Eric Roberts? She must be friends with Eric Roberts. It's the
yeah.
only way that he'll appear in a movie. It's a still of him doing the like dog, like CGI eyes opening up, like whoo.
Oh,
oh
no.
my gosh.
Yes,
Oh,
love
boy.
it.
But
Well,
I mean, Eric Roberts.
Speaking of mugging for the camera,
Yeah, how would you describe Catling's acting style?
she's a big mugger for sure.
Every time the camera is on her and she says a line, it looks like her eyes are going to pop out of her head.
I would maybe call her a screamer more
Yes.
than a mugger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa!
It's not like the worst. I'm not saying she's a good actress, but like I kind of like I didn't hate watching her. I'm gonna put it that way. Like I wasn't like annoyed to no end. There's some kind of charm going on
A little bit
with
yeah.
her character.
There are like anymore, and you would you would absolutely despise this movie. I mean, if your tolerance is low for kind of wacky hijinks, you're gonna hate this movie.
A lot of-
I think this movie should almost be put in like a containment cell for like what it is. Like the fumes coming off of this bad boy are like nuclear.
We just wear like a hazmat suit.
Yeah, like to
Put
watch
it-
this movie.
put it in the
Can
Disney
you imagine
vault.
putting this movie on with a group of friends? It's like, you ready to laugh? You're just like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I've just broken your guys' brains doing this. For
I
too
mean,
long.
much like Inland Empire, it starts really slow, and you're like, "What is this movie? What is this going to be?"
Well, this movie starts with like the title. Did you guys notice the animated fish that's laughing and dancing
Yes.
on screen?
Yes.
And I was like, is this going to come back? Oh, I guess it kind of does.
It kind
right?
of
Now that I
does,
think
yeah.
about it.
It makes as soon
like
as
that
you
character comes back.
yeah, as soon as
Yeah.
you said that, I was like, oh shit, right.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Worse.
But like when it played, I was like, when is this coming back? I guess I was like, oh, I guess it's not.
It takes a long time for that
Yeah.
that character to come back.
There's a lot of like plot threads in this movie.
Well, I can understand how this was maybe reworked into some kind of series because it's quite episodic.
So is that what the series is? They just took this movie and
I
just
think
recut
so.
it?
Are
Yeah.
you asking me what the series is? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's on. You can see it on IMDb as like a series. So
I
it's
assume.
like I think it was released separately.
It came out in like 2023 or 2022 or something.
Yeah.
like
Okay. Well, this movie is fascinatingly not on Tubi anymore. I believe it was at one point. Maybe it was too funny for Tubi.
Yeah.
And it's on YouTube now on the we all love this site, Crack Up.
Crack Up, is that?
Is it the channel?
Yeah, that's the name of the channel.
Oh.
It looks like it has all feature films that you're like, these don't look real.
Like, is that what the screen grab you sent me?
I mean, the comment section is pretty funny.
Like the screen grab, and it was just all, and I saw the Yahoo Serious one, or was that was on TV?
No, that was on Tubi.
Okay,
but that was
okay.
for something. I think I was looking up Eric Roberts, and I was like, "What movie is Eric Roberts in?" Yeah, I'm looking
Every
here
movie.
at the Crack Up YouTube page. Oh man, there's like these look like SNL.
Yeah,
like
parodies.
photos of movies that don't really exist, like Gabriel Byrne in An LA Minute. Fame is a 4-letter word.
Oh my God, what is that?
Gabriel Byrne, no.
And it's like, what is that? Or Making Out. Smiley Face is on here. That's a real movie. There you go.
I've been wanting to watch Smiley Face for years, but it was notoriously unavailable.
Well, you can watch it now on Crack Up.
That's still the still that you sent from My Redneck Neighbor. Yes. That looks like David Lynch on the right, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
It does too.
That's like an Asian man.
You think David Lynch is in My Redneck Neighbor?
Yeah, he probably knows her. He lives next to her or something.
All right. Well, here's a lot of stuff we could maybe, examine in the Crack Up page. Like, I got 5 on it. Part 2? What? There's a second one of this? Or Marty Jenkins and the Vampire Bitches?
Okay. I guess they're just like, we'll buy anything.
I got 5 on it too.
I got 5
Stoner
on it.
Revenge.
Oh, I know this movie, the classic Cheech Marin film, Shrimp on the Barbie.
I think I've
1990.
at least heard of that.
What is this?
Full-length Australian comedy film with exclamation point.
Like some of these are like feature films like that have been released by studios.
Funny Money with Chevy Chase and Shooter McGavin.
And Shooter McGavin. Yep.
Chris McDonald. Is that his name?
Chris
McDonald. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Rice Girl, it starts with Kat Ling going to an audition, and she's playing. She's like, I'm going to be a crazy football fan. Mm-hmm. And she jumps on the casting agent, and they're like, get her out of here.
It's very embarrassing.
You kind of think that she's like this in real life.
Yeah,
she's got like a Bailing energy.
It's like an autobiography.
You know, like Bailing is
I
just
know
like
Bailing.
Absolutely insane in real life.
Real life.
Yeah.
So like we go to her house, and she has a neighbor that looks so much like a sitcom actor. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just her hair that I'm like, I gotta look up. Is this someone? Nope, it's no one. She's only in this movie. Hey, her religious neighbor who.
Oh, really?
It's not her neighbor. It's her roommate.
Her roommate.
I looked her up on IMDb, and she was on like Tucker Carlson or something as herself, and I'm like,
really?
Oh, is she like a political pundit? But my research only went that far, so
maybe she's
I'm
a
not sure.
Pundit.
It could be because I also was like, she looks and sounds very familiar, but I mean, I don't mind watching Fox News, so
just watch Tubi, you'll get the commercials.
Yeah, maybe I'll see her on there. So maybe she took a turn, but yeah, so she has a religious roommate who's telling her to like give up acting. And she reads in the paper or something about this director named Martini something.
Director Martini
is casting
for
Hooker X.
Some new role.
This doesn't really matter until the end. Like
no, yeah.
I thought this was going to be like the driving plot, and we'd be
they kind of
tuning in with Director Martini. Who is he supposed to be? Is he supposed to be like a Rennie Harlan type or something?
I guess so, yeah.
But with the hair, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, sure. So yeah, she wants to land this role in Hooker X. So
it's her dream role.
Yeah, her roommate sends her to this guy, Dr. Roulette. He's an acting coach. Mm-hmm. She goes.
But before we get to Dr. Roulette, we have to see a Cops parody, which we loved in the 2000s.
Oh, God.
Which I was confused if it was actually a parody or like if they were I was confused about what we were watching, if they were real cops or if they were actors. They are real cops, but they were playing themselves. But anyway, the point is John Lithgow's son is in this movie.
Ian Lithgow.
Yes. I saw Lithgow and I was like, okay, is it? Wow.
He looks exactly like him.
Do you know when Cops went off the air?
When?
The TV show? Never. It's still on.
No.
Yep.
No, I can't believe
Get
it.
out of town.
1,206 episodes. There's 36 seasons.
I can't. First of all, I mean, the political climate has changed quite a bit, and it's still on. So, like, how do they allow themselves to be filmed? Whatever. It's probably all fake or something.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just started season 36, premiered April 5th, 2024.
Jesus Lord.
Well, I mean, I watched that Jerry Springer documentary, and it was like, oh, it only went off the air like 10 years ago or something like that. I was like, what?
It's just probably on channels that we don't get up here.
It's possible.
No, it's Fox. It's Fox. It's all on Fox. So.
Do we even
Cops
get that up here?
We have Fox.
Yeah. I think we get Fox Buffalo. I remember getting that and watching their weird host.
We don't have cable, so it's like we don't have any like TV.
I mean, yes, you are not 75 years old, so I'd be shocked if you had cable television.
Yeah, it's so bizarre going down to like the States and like in your hotel, you just turn it on.
I turn it on and then I immediately turn it off.
And it's like, oh, that's weird. Anyway.
So
these cops are so bumbling.
Yeah, they fight a guy, and this will come back later. But first, we see our hero, Kat Ling, goes and meets this actor teacher and shows him her tape, which is, boy.
Yeah. Colin, you didn't see it.
Yeah, I was in the bathroom, thankfully.
But like,
I don't even.
I can't even.
What is this?
It's like
it literally feels like something out of Inland Empire.
Exactly.
We're gonna keep coming
She's
back to
wearing
that
like a
movie.
Hawaiian outfit, and she's talking to a fisherman.
They're speaking in like pidgin, like
yeah,
made up
and
language.
she's talking
Oh,
about like,
Jesus.
oh, your dog or your cat ate my fish, but then it turns out she ate it, and then they chase each other around like Benny Hill.
Oh God.
The first and not the last appearance of Benny Hill style chase.
But the teacher loves it. He's cracking up. He's dying laughing. But then he's like, well, I'm laughing because it's bad, I guess. And then he
He goes,
says,
it's so bad.
yeah. Then he says, if you want to be in this movie, you have to live the life of a hooker. So go walk the streets and he says, turn tricks. He literally says that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's eating. This is like not the first.
They were just trying to disgust us.
It's the first of many scenes of people eating like disgusting
food,
in
yeah.
a disgusting way. He's eating like jarred
it's like the
pig's
substance over
feet.
here.
Oh, it's disgusting.
I mean, the next scene is the guy eating donuts, so I wanted to throw
Oh,
up.
God.
not just any guy.
Martin
This is
Cove.
Martin
Just
Cove.
a random man.
Martin Cove, co-star of the Karate Kid, playing the dad.
Yeah.
And he's now a major like star of the Karate Kid TV show.
Cobra Kai. I wonder if
Cobra
he's
Kai.
going to be in the new movie.
No.
'cause- Okay.
No, the new movie was Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
I think it's in the same universe, but it's like, oh yeah, all the other people are somewhere off screen over there.
Okay,
We
so
won't
they're not,
see
it's not
them.
going to be a crossover. It seems
No.
like, that would be a good, I don't
Yep.
know. It's like they're merging
He's
the
not
two
as
kind of
popular
movies.
as the other.
He's very good on Cobra Kai. I don't know if you guys have watched that show.
I
No,
actually
I've been
haven't
hearing
seen
good things about
yeah.
it.
4 or 5 seasons, and
That's
someone was like,
crazy.
the new season's terrible. And I was like, I don't know, we're 5 seasons in at this point. Like,
Well, you're either in or you're out, right?
you're in or out. Yeah.
Excuse me.
But
yeah.
so he's introducing this movie, eating donuts.
He's like the mean police captain or something
Yeah.
like that.
And
He's like, you guys beat up the perp that you got, so you have to go on pimp duty, basically. It's
like-
very unclear.
It's confusing because they arrested a pimp named Jimmy. No,
Stevie?
it's
It doesn't matter.
the girl's boyfriend. Anyway, and then so he's like, there's some stupid plot where he says you have to like arrest all of these hookers and we'll do something.
Sex workers.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
bringing
sorry,
down
sex
like
workers.
I don't know.
A prostitution ring.
Madam-
And the pimp won't let them tell them the information they need, so they put him in an industrial washing machine.
That
Yeah.
I was like, no. He was just yelling at them about doing the cop show that was about police brutality, and then they just throw a man in a washing machine, a dryer.
Yeah, well,
Do what they say,
center,
not
yeah.
what they do, April.
I was almost like I wanted to vomit watching him
Makes you
eating
think.
these donuts. He's eating powdered donuts.
He's
Yeah.
chowing down.
just
And they're like falling, pieces are like falling out of his
Disgusting.
mouth.
And
And,
he's-
at the end of the scene, they even say, "You have donut all over your mouth," and he's like, "Get the hell out of
he
here!"
eats like 2 of them.
No,
He's
because
talking with his mouth open.
put their tongues out and they're like, like
Yeah.
and they're like, are you gay or something? It's like,
Yeah.
boy,
God.
2002.
And I thought that this was the end of this character, but then
Oh,
he
yeah,
just becomes like the
feels
guy's
like
partner.
He feels like he's being filmed separately, like they paid him for one day. It's like shoot
Yeah.
your scenes. All right, leave. But then he's in every scene
Yeah,
following this.
Yeah,
Well, it's weird because like Ian Lithgow's partner kind of disappears.
he returns
He comes
later.
back in brown face.
He kind of but he disappears for most of the movie.
He does.
And then Martin Cove takes his place as this guy's partner as they
They're
go
like,
undercover.
the people
Yeah.
love Cove. They need more Cove.
It's-
and also, Martin Cove ain't doing anything around now, so why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
He's kind of fun in this. They play like
he
they go undercover as these kind of like Texas cowboy pimps or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
They have
it's
this
very over the top.
At this point, our hero, Catling, is, I guess she just wants to get close to prostitutes to understand them.
I think that she's like, I'm going to do this, but she's like thinking, I don't know if I can really go through with it, but I'm going to try. Like she's committed. She
Yeah.
rents a room in a sleazebag hotel.
Oh, don't you love this guy that runs the hotel?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was like, is he anyone? I don't think he is.
No,
I
he
don't
is
think
not.
he's anyone.
Unless you're thinking of, he played the great role of businessman.
No.
And it was a famous show. I just wrote in my notes, Eddie the Goldfish, who was also a businessman. So I didn't write what movie he was in.
All right. Well, if we haven't made it clear, there's a lot of ethnic stereotypes in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, his stereotype is
he's just
bad.
like I'm
He's
a man.
just very
He's like I'm a man
undefined.
from the Middle East.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's basically it.
Yeah.
But
He
I'm
almost
just saying
seems
there's
to
more
be
to
trying
come.
to scream and act Cat Ling off the screen as well.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Which
to
you
Cat
don't
Ling.
want to do. You don't
No,
want to
yeah.
Yeah, so she moves in and she brings a goldfish with her.
Oh,
and
this is very important.
and she
a
starts-
twist that none of you will see coming.
No,
No.
she starts talking to the goldfish. You think that it's going to get blended.
Wait, guys, when they're going up to the hotel, remember there was a Hannibal Lecter?
Yes.
When did that get like you're not allowed to do that anymore? I feel like 2002 's
I don't
pretty
know,
late
but
for
they did one in the Shaun the Sheep movie that we watched recently,
Did
and
they?
that was like 2008 or something. So it was very. That one was really
whatever.
funny though.
It's fun.
But yeah, so this goldfish
Okay,
that
for-
she's like, it's going to get blended.
I feel so bad for this fish, and you know that they killed multiple.
They
fish
better not
shooting
have.
this.
Absolutely.
She doesn't have like a bowl, so she puts it in a blender. The blender doesn't turn on.
Okay, first of all, she gets to like the check-in desk and drops it. Shatters the glass, and we see this like fish like wriggling on the ground. Oh, that fish died. At one point, she flushes a fish down the toilet.
I just want to say I'm morally opposed to keeping fish in tanks.
It's terrible. I feel so bad.
If
for
you
this
have
fucking
like a
thing.
really, really big, nice tank,
This is
My dad has huge tanks that take up the whole basement.
Yeah, this
And
is-
all he does is take care of his fish.
April. This
Those
is not
fish
a
are
tank.
probably
this
okay.
This is a glass of water. She's got it in.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm just saying, in life, I see those all over the place, and I feel like I'm morally
Are
opposed
you
to
like at a fair or something like
I
that?
was at an office recently, and at reception, they had a glass that
Wow.
was not much bigger than a water glass with a beta fish in it.
What?
And
I
I'm
have
like,
not seen
how
like a,
could
like
you
in
do
public
that?
a fish like that.
Yeah, how dare you do that? But
How dare you?
and I know people say like maybe like they don't have the brain capacity, they don't care.
It's a living nightmare. I don't know. Like, what do you have it for? I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Why are you keeping it in a glass?
Because it looks nice, maybe.
Put
I
it
don't
in
know.
aquariums
It's a
look much
living
nicer.
thing. How could you do this?
Just weird.
Anyway, so they maybe killed a couple fish in this movie. But so she starts talking to the goldfish and saying like, "Oh, Eddie, you're my only friend," stuff, kind of stuff like that. She starts reading the Bible in her room,
And then,
just by coincidence.
And then it cuts back to like her religious roommate.
Not by
praying.
coincidence, based on the beliefs of writer star Cat Ling.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I guess maybe she's Christian.
Oh,
She
really? Do you
absolutely-
think?
Did you guys miss the end credits of this movie?
Jesus Christ.
I thought that was a joke.
No.
I missed the satire again.
April is she thinks Cat Ling's playing 4D chess over here.
Wow.
And I didn't miss the satire. I saw satire that wasn't there.
No.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
get to it.
So it cuts back to like her religious roommate praying to God for her, and then God, I guess, imbues Eddie the fish with
Sentience. Well,
Sentience
no, not
and talking
sentience.
power.
With
No,
a
it's an
guardian
angel possesses him.
right.
It's a wonderful life type angel. So it starts talking back to her, which is pretty. Now, guys, was there a mouth animation, or was that just
No,
the fish
there's no
moving
mouth
its
struggling
mouth?
to breathe in this cup of water.
Right.
Yeah. And this fish does nothing, and
And then
it
she
just
flushes
complains
it
a
down the
lot.
toilet.
Yeah.
In a scene that I hope it didn't really go down, but it
did.
certainly looked like it did.
It did. And then she pretends to rescue it, and I told April, that's a different fish. Like,
Absolutely.
April's trying to convince herself. No, she saved it.
Maybe
like, no,
it was a
no.
real-
I want to talk though about there's a scene with the cops. They're having a like a barbecue to honor one of them going undercover as a pimp.
Is that what that
Yes.
barbecue was for?
Yes. and there's a guy that looks like Sam Rockwell. And I
Yeah.
was like, is that Sam
The guy with the
Rockwell?
mustache?
Yeah, his more unsuccessful like younger brother like Dean Rockwell or
Jimmy.
something like that.
I wanted there to be like all like the like sons and brothers and sisters
Yeah,
of,
like
of
all John
stars
Lithgows and
in this
stuff like that.
in this movie because
So did you guys? And I rewinded the scene. There's a shot where he's like, "You're freaking out my something cat," and then it cuts to a cat going like, "Meow."
yeah, there's multiple cats. One time there's a guy holding what looks like a kitten, and then another shot that's like it's like a much bigger like baby cougar or something.
That it looked like a cougar. And I
Yeah.
was like, "Is this a joke? Like, what is going on?"
Yeah, I didn't
here?
understand. It's so weird. The tone.
They got exotic. I think maybe they were like production value, exotic cats. I know a guy, you know.
Well, in the end credits, I was like, maybe they got them from Joe Exotic, from
I don't think
Tiger.
he's not in LA. Wasn't he in Florida?
But then, yeah, it's true. But at the end, they have the website. Special thanks to exoticcatsomething.com.
I'm just saying, there's probably lots of places called exotic cats. But yeah, why?
I don't know.
I really don't.
It's funny. I mean, I was laughing.
That scene was like reminding me of like the Fateful Findings scene with the pool where they're just like, hey, have a hot dog. It's just weird, awkward. And then like the guy gets pushed into the pool and they shoot it in slow motion. That should have been my
Lynchian,
that should have been my tip off that it was shot on film, because it didn't look like it was digitally slowed down.
Slow motion.
Yeah, I didn't think. But
and we haven't even talked about the real star, and maybe my favorite thing of this whole movie, the score of the film.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'm getting it's like a Dangerous Men vibe, kind of. Casio keyboard.
It's like endless. There's like a lot of like bum 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 bum.
There's like Looney Tunes like music. At the end credits, there are so many fucking songs credited
that were just written, and they came up with silly names.
There's like
for them.
at least like I don't know 20 songs. And it's like, what the Jesus Christ.
And if you think this film is badly written, there's a scene 30 minutes in where Kat Ling sees the landlord of the flop house she's staying in putting up a sign that's like, if you wrestle this guy, you'll win money. Meathead. And she's like, oh, I'll wrestle him to get money. And he goes, no, you can't. And she goes, okay. And then it doesn't get brought up for another hour.
Well, I missed that. So when they end up there later, I'm like, what is this? But it was set up.
This was the gun on the table. It has to go off. The wrestling match was Meathead.
Yeah, I was like, this is the one. If you pin him for 3 minutes or 3 seconds, you win $100,000, I think.
$100,000.
But I'm like, well, yeah, it's going to end like this.
Which it kind of does.
Yep.
So...
well, she meets
all her
like
pimping adventures.
She meets the prostitute friend. I don't remember her name, but she's the one who's like trying to get the pimp out of jail. She's like teaching her about how to be a prostitute.
Yeah. So they go to a big party in the
I mean they meet up with the fake pimps.
But so Martin Cove and the other cop, John Lithgow Jr. They have big cowboy hats and they're doing Southern accents and sunglasses.
Yeah, it's ridiculous and embarrassing.
Yeah, they have this big like pink car that says "Pimp for you."
Pimp for you. There's a joke coming up with that actually made me laugh later on. So
it's like
something about this movie too is that like it's directed by someone who genuinely made a movie that I like, Michael Fisher. He did Death Spa. He also did Delta Heat, which I don't like very much, but it was kind of a studio picture with Anthony Edwards and Lance Henriksen.
Was that a canon movie?
No, because it came out in 1992.
Oh.
But he's done like genuinely,
good fun. He also did My Mom's a Werewolf.
I've at least heard of that. But yeah, Death Spa is a fun movie. It's a cheesy B movie, but like it's good. There's a lot in it. There's a lot of stuff in that
It starts
movie.
with like a wild Steadicam shot. Like they're trying stuff. Rice Girl is the film of a broken man. Like
Rice Girl is
there
like
is
barely
still
a movie.
some like technical competence to it.
There's some baffling close-ups of faces that appear throughout the movie.
Yeah, there's
that
a
are
few.
almost like scare shots where
Because
it's like someone will be like, "Hey, what's going on?" But then the going on will be a giant close-up of their mouth and eyes,
it's
and they're
like something.
Because
what's going on?
It's like Dennis Quaid from The Substance or something.
It's because it was inspired by Inland Empire.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Very
we got to get right up into people's faces.
Well, there is like it's kind of a car chase at the end of the movie, which is sort of technically competent. Like, all right,
Yeah, maybe they shot that first.
Yeah.
So something I like about this party that our hero and her friend go to is that there's a band in the background playing the soundtrack like boom 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 boom.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's silly. She wears this ridiculous outfit, this wig. She's doing like a posh accent. This is more like her. Like this movie is her reel, you guys.
For sure, yeah.
She's carrying around this like. This bagged fish. To A, I feel bad for the fish, and B, Kat, it's not as funny as you think it is. So please stop.
I mean, that is the
the movie,
the defining theme of this movie.
That's so weird, and it's just like any one of these like kind of plot threads should have been the main kind of plot.
There's like 3 different plots going on.
Yeah, it's like, oh, her and her fish Eddie should be the main plot, whatever. And
do you think John Lithgow watched this movie?
I mean, his son is in it a lot.
Yeah.
So
he's like the co-star. So I looked
Yes.
up, what is his name? Is it like
Ian
Zach
Lithgow.
Ian Lithgow.
So he was like I think a major character on Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah, so I looked that up once we realized who it was, and I was like, I totally remember that guy because I watched that show, but I didn't know it was his son at the time.
He was in 48 episodes.
Yeah,
So,
stupid me. I didn't recognize that it was his son, and they look identical. But I was like a teenager when I
Yeah,
watched
as soon as you
that.
see it, it's like, okay, that's a Lithgow jaw.
Yeah,
He kind of sounds like him too.
I think she's continually re-editing this because Rice Girl Goes to Hollywood is credited in 2023.
Yeah.
And it's like Pat Morita's in this one too.
It's all the same one.
It's just the same footage.
From Beyond the Grave.
John Lithgow's like, hey son, you're in another Rice Girl thing, right?
Dad's the same one.
It's the same one.
But I bought the DVD.
It would be funny if like he continuously made fun of him for being in Rice Girl. Because,
Like John Lithgow won't stop ribbing
like
him.
every
He's
Thanksgiving.
Like, ha ha! You're
It's like-
probably wondering what I'm watching. Well, I'm watching Rice Girl again.
Yeah. Would you like some more rice, son? Or is that too
Or
close
the
to the
girl-
movie you made?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a song that plays in this party
Sticky
scene, which is
Rice.
like sticky rice,
God.
sticky rice.
Yeah, it
Love
comes up in the
myself.
end credits as well. It's like a rockabilly sticky rice song.
Were you like
Bring the
jamming
sticky-
at this point, Colin?
Oh man, I was
Because
slapping my knee. I was like jumping around. April was
you're
just
like, it's like
what?
Brian Seltzer reborn.
It was more like a Johnny Cash.
All the
sounding.
cats were like running away. They're like, "What is he doing?"
Yeah.
I was
You're like, wait, didn't Brian
sticky rice.
didn't Brian Seltzer have something like Brian Seltzer and the Top Cats or something like that?
No, it was like
Brian
the,
Setzer and his
Setzer.
orchestra.
That was the Brian Setzer
I want to
Orchestra.
call it Brian Seltzer.
Seltzer.
That's my Weird Al parody version.
Yeah,
of him.
you do it. Do it every time. The Brian Setzer Orchestra. I'm sure it sounds like a song he would easily do because he did like all those shitty Christmas songs.
That would be like
Still won't let him
It's
go.
a
because of those
rockabilly
Christmas
jingle
songs.
that would be like a funny sketch. This is like a real Rice Girl idea, like Brian Seltzer, but he sings about seltzer in that, like,
Yep.
and it's a joke that nobody would get.
That is something that they threw off like Mad Magazine.
Yeah, no, that would
Nobody
be
like
like
would get
TV
it because
shows.
no one knows who Brian Setzer
from
is
the
anymore.
people who brought you like the Bublé commercials. You
Yeah.
know, Michael Bublé.
Dude, that's a good point. Why didn't they
Brian's-
get Brian Setzer? And people are mispronouncing his name Seltzer.
No,
it's the
it's-
same joke.
He has too much, you know,
Dignity.
dignity.
Does
yeah.
he?
Jingle bell,
Brian
jingle
Setzer?
bell, jingle bell rock.
When I was riding around in my Cadillac,
Yeah.
a Santa Claus came and I looked at his sack.
Wait, that's not Brian Setzer. It's Michael Keaton from Jack Frost. Oh no, the harmonica's coming out.
Clearly inspired, yeah.
Oh, the Jack Frost band. You gotta listen to this bootleg tape of this band. It's amazing.
So after this,
The party.
party, there is probably the most David Lynch scene where they go to dinner.
oh my
yeah,
god,
so she meets John Lithgow, or sorry, Ian
Ian.
Lithgow.
I would
what's
love
his,
John
what's his name?
Lithgow.
His name is like Chipmunk.
yeah.
That's his nickname. So we could just call him Chip. But he wants to have sex with her. He thinks that she's a legit prostitute. And she goes, no, I have a tummy ache. So he's
Well,
like, can I
she
take you
has
to
a real
dinner?
tummy ache because it roars like a lion.
It does.
It's like
There's some
roar.
funny sound effects in this movie, I will
Oh,
say.
there's some later on that genuinely made me laugh. But
And,
yeah, he takes her to
so
a
they go to
Chinese
dinner.
restaurant.
And there's like a weird joke where he's like, "Oh, this is very far," and he's like, "Well, you wanted fresh fish, right?" And then they sit down in an empty restaurant, and the camera will not stop turning around them.
Yeah, and like they're closing, so the waitress who's called like Onery, like hostess, who has a ton of credits, by the way.
And every time she walks into frame and leaves frame, they have the Chinese gong sound.
Yeah, yeah. So
And-
and then it's
Yeah, you
And
may
it's
as
like-
well at this point.
I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. Am I supposed to be laughing because it seems
Yes.
like, but it's like. It's racially insensitive humor,
It's
but
pretty
it's
funny because
written by
they just
her.
keep doing it, and then at one point it just goes like crazy.
I
and
know,
they're
but
just
she's
doing
like eating like the fish head, and he's like, ugh, and it's like,
Yeah.
it was uncomfortable.
Well, you know, it's all about a parody of the un-PC humor that the Democrats won't allow
I guess
real
so.
comedians to do anymore.
There
I
is
guess
this.
so.
We forgot to say that they can't bring Eddie the fish in because it's like a live seafood restaurant. So he turns into a naked man who's just sitting
Who's
at one of
wet.
the booths, and he's wet, and only she can see him, and he does nothing in this scene except.
And there's just like
Smiles.
cutaways to this naked wet man.
Yeah, and he's kind of
Smiling.
just like
Things in the
mugging to camera for no reason.
This is like real improv 101 stuff too. Like the waitress brings a crab that she drops in his lap, and then it
Bites his
gets
nuts.
his balls.
And she's like poking
I was
with
laughing.
a broom.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, you're hitting it with a broom.
Yeah, and like, she's mean and
this
rude.
sounds funny. I know you're all laughing, everybody, but just imagine it shot as poorly as possible.
Yeah, it's awkward.
It needed more sound effects, like a crunch.
And then he doesn't know how to use more gongs, Colin.
Gong, gong.
And then he doesn't know how to use chopsticks. I mean, this is all classy stuff.
Oh, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, so they leave, and he takes her home, and he's like, "Are you gonna invite me up?" No. So already for some reason he's smitten with this girl, and she's just trying to figure like she's dealing with the fact that she is now seeing a human talking to her that nobody else can see. So this is Eddie, the angel, who is now no longer inhabiting the body of this goldfish. Thank God.
Yeah, because the fish is dead. Let's admit.
Yeah. So he is now a full human man who is invisible to everyone but her.
Who will not stop smirking.
Yeah. And I have to say, this is my favorite aspect of the movie is this guy, because he feels like he gets it, and he also feels like he's doing a better performance than anyone else in the film, and I don't know why. Because I mean,
He's doing a real drop dead Fred, if you will.
yeah.
Oh,
He's,
yeah.
very big.
But he's big in a way that I feel works. Whereas when we are about to see Joe Estevez, I'm like, oh God,
Oh, don't you dare
Sir.
spoil it.
sir, you're embarrassing yourself. I didn't feel like this guy was embarrassing himself. I felt like he was. I generally thought it was a good performance as this kind of like wacky character.
How dare you say that Joe Estevez embarrassed himself? Joe Estevez is nothing but class. Now, does he look at the listings every day in the newspaper of who's casting and then send his name forward? Whoever says yes first,
Yes.
he goes and acts
he
in that.
does.
I mean, that is just professionalism.
It's him.
if there's
It's him and
anything.
Eric Roberts fighting over roles.
Well, it's in like the next. He's in like the next scene, right?
Yeah.
He is.
So he does something embarrassing, which is he references himself.
Oh, God,
And
yeah.
says,
Oh, does he?
Yes.
I missed that.
Yeah, she says, she's like, oh, you look familiar. And he's like, oh, really? And he kind of looks at camera, and then he's like, oh, it's probably this. I got to wipe the sheen off my face.
No, yeah, he says like it's the sheen, and then wipes his forehead. I'm like, Joe.
That's the name of his interview book, Wiping Off the Sheen, which
Yeah.
I own, of course.
Is it
It's very
really?
good.
Maybe
Yep.
it was coming out around that time or something.
It's
but then,
possible.
so then she's like, I need to go to the
He
bathroom.
was like, I want to self-promote my interview book
In this movie.
In this movie
I got to
I'm
wipe
making.
off the sheen. Available now.
He basically does that. So yeah, he's just being this like lecherous John.
Yeah, Joe Estevez, you can't really, I feel like, give him any direction. You just kind of like a wild animal.
Oh, you just let him go.
That's certainly how
you open
it
up
felt.
the cage, you cut the leash, and he just goes.
Yeah, you take off the Hannibal Lecter mask.
She's like, I can't go through with this. She's in the bathroom. Eddie is the angel is talking her out of it, and he's in the other room going like, oh, I don't even know what or why.
He's
He's
taking
taking
off
his
his
clothes
clothes.
off. He's getting.
There's at least 5 movies that Joe Estevez wears a Hannibal Lecter mask, right? There has to be.
Why is that like his thing?
No, I just feel he just got that vibe, like he'd be in those kind of
Well, that's how he
comedies.
shows up to set. So it's it's up to the director whether they want
Well,
him
that's
to take
his
it off.
agent. What is the life of Joe Estevez's agent?
No.
I don't.
It's
know.
just like,
But,
yes.
Do you think does he need
Yes.
an agent?
But he's been in like bigger movies, right?
No,
Has he?
hasn't.
No, not even
no.
one?
He hasn't.
So this is the biggest thing.
He has maybe early on with but like at a certain point I feel like Estevez he's in Apocalypse Now. I think maybe probably in the background. I think he may do some dubbing. And then like the second movie of his most popular is the Tim Heidecker Mr. America fake documentary.
Oh yeah.
Well, how?
And then it's like Decker and like a bunch of Replicator. So like but he's been in so much stuff which shows the kind of like
I think Baby Ghost as well.
Yep, because he was with the director Donald G. Jackson, and he was a go-to guy.
But how sad is it that he has to live his life in the shadow of his more famous family members?
I don't
I
think
feel like
he
he
cares.
acts a lot. He's probably happy.
Yeah.
and,
he works a
like,
lot.
Becoming like he works a lot.
Okay,
Like,
well,
you don't know that Joe Estevez has like an Eric Roberts like career, but without one like good movie in there.
Okay, Eric Roberts has done more than one good movie.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is that like Joe Estevez doesn't even have one.
Yeah.
Like he currently has 303 credits.
All right. Well, I mean, and even if that is on name alone, he is at least committing in this scene in Rice Girl. He practically looks at the camera, though.
Oh, he does.
He's part of the Tim Heidecker. Have you guys seen him in the Tim Heidecker stuff? He's
I've seen the
funny.
Decker stuff.
I have not.
Oh, and of course, I think I've mentioned it before, the Eagleheart episode that he's in. Oh, that's the good thing.
Oh, Eagleheart.
Yes.
I forgot
where
about that
show. He plays... Okay, I'm going to say it all over again. There's an episode... Eagleheart is like a Chuck Norris parody
That's
starring Chris
Elliott, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to watch
one of the episodes where they meet Martin Sheen, and it's actually Joe Estevez. But Joe Estevez has been lying and saying he's Martin Sheen, and in this episode only, it cuts to behind-the-scenes footage of them filming the show, where we learn that Joe Estevez, if he kills himself, can possess the body of other people. So he possesses Chris Elliott, and then the rest of the show is Joe Estevez in the Chris Elliott role.
Oh my God.
And he's also portrayed as the cheapest man in the world.
Of course.
Where at one point he goes, "Hey, can I have some more spaghetti?" And the craft service person is like, "Oh, sorry, Mr. Estevez, you only get one bowl." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I'll see about that." And he shoots himself and possesses the craft service guy so he can pour himself up more spaghetti.
Now, I only learned of the existence of this show a couple years ago. My question is, where can I watch this?
It's probably on like Fubu, Freevee, or something like that.
Freevee, I think.
Yeah. And what I would recommend is watch only the third season to start. Because in the third season, the gimmick that they decided is like, we're going to make this a serialized show. So it's like a story throughout.
So
and
start
what's
with that.
Brett Gelman is revealed to be the devil at the end of the show. He was trying to tell us all along, and we wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to Rice Girl.
Should we?
I don't remember.
Let's talk about Eagleheart some more. And Joe Estevez.
I love Chris Elliott. Very
funny guy.
What's happening in the
There
world
is a
of Rice
scene
Girl?
where the prostitute friend of Wendy's, she's gonna get a John or whatever.
And she sees the angel?
Yeah, the angel kind of comes up behind her and he's like, "That guy was gonna slit your throat." And he turns his face into like a monster mask, and then the guy like drives away.
Yeah.
Don't know what that means. Whatever.
What that means
Never comes up again.
is she brings it up at the very end where she says, "I found Jesus."
Oh,
Because she saw a guardian angel who saved her life.
right. I guess.
Oh, I guess I never
that's
really
right.
realized how religious this
Yeah,
movie
it's
was.
everything's
Again,
falling
the
into
end
place.
quote of the movie really tells you.
Yeah, it's like, only through the elimination of violence can we
That's my
can we
ambulance.
achieve world
Thank you to the
peace.
brave fighters of the Muha. No, the end quote at the end credits is, "A multitude of thanks to Jesus Christ, the Son of God, who has made the impossible possible."
Yeah.
The impossible being
This movie.
Kat
The
Lang
movie existed.
having a movie.
Yeah.
And it
Yes.
was made possible.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a budget.
How much do you think this movie cost?
Oh, God.
$500,000?
Yeah, probably.
You're shooting on 35 millimeter. You're casting. They're probably union,
500,000?
considering who they're working with. Yeah.
yeah, maybe
I was going to
more.
say like 20,000.
No,
Well, I mean,
no.
yeah, you're shooting on film, that alone.
Yeah. And like,
Yeah.
we have the biggest cameo of the whole film coming up.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pat Morita.
Oh my God, I forgot about Pat
So we
Morita.
have another Karate Kid alum, and he is just in one scene, a scene that feels very disconnected from the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's being robbed by someone we've never met as
so-
the cops are in the background. So we have John Lithgow's son, as well as the other cop who has been out of the movie and seems to be in brownface in this
He's
movie.
like undercover as a drug dealer. I thought he just like had like dirt on his face.
Yeah.
No, I think the joke is that he's doing like an Al Pacino in
like
Scarface
Serpico
thing.
or something. Oh,
Yeah.
It
Scarface.
used to be Serpico.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought he was
wait,
just
sorry.
like dirtied up, but he has like a German accent or something like that. It's pretty
Yeah, I
strange.
don't know, because he's like so they bust a drug dealer and they go into this cafe and then their like backs are turned. So I'm like, this whole scene with Pat Morita was probably just shot separately.
It's like improv
And this scene is also like, where's Rice Girl? She hasn't been in the movie for like
for
20
a very long
minutes.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what she's up to, but yeah, this kind of just goes on forever. He kind of talks to this like Latino guy who's robbing him and kicks him out, and then like that's it. And then like our cops get well, we have to get to the underground wrestling scene because that's
Well,
the next big thing, right?
A car chase happens, and maybe the funniest line in the movie happens, which is a cop watches a car go by that's like the pimp mobile, and he reads the license plate, and he goes, "Pimp for you, I hate pimps," and he chases after them. That's it.
So he's chasing
That's the
our
funniest line of the movie.
He's chasing our undercover cops. Our undercover cops are chasing some other guy. They all end up at this like underground fighting arena.
Just by accident.
They keep calling it a dog fight?
Oh yeah, because it's like it stands for something. It's like something underground wrestling.
It's underground
wrestling group or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is when our hero Kat shows up, and she gets mugged by someone we didn't mention, mugged her earlier in the movie, which leads to I think the most poorly shot version of the Scooby-Doo running through hallways I've ever seen.
Yeah. You can't even tell.
It's like a low angle off to the side, so it's not even straight on.
Yeah. It's just like...
And it's fast forward.
It's just like blurry people running in and out of frame.
And it's kind of really dark, too, and it's very strange. She ends up in the arena, or the ring, the fighting ring, against
fighting meathead.
Fighting meathead.
And this is where she gets the name Rice Girl, because she's wearing kind of, like a kimono kind of outfit.
But
traditional Chinese
This is
outfit.
the funniest part. I actually laughed hard at the sound effects every time Meathead roars. It's like this raptor T-Rex roar. They put in, and then they
put one of the famous screams.
It's the Howie.
They do the Howie screams twice, which always makes me laugh. Plus, this man is literally doing an impression of Chris Farley. And we were like, is
his brother like Bo Farley?
We looked it up. Apparently, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it could have been. It could have been.
Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna beat you.
But then that would make like 3 like people who are related to famous people.
Like in the editing room, they're like, something's missing
Yeah.
here.
How about a dinosaur sound?
Yeah, it's so stupid, but it made me laugh.
Kat Ling is like, it's not funny enough. You need to make it funnier.
No, doesn't she manage to win this fight somehow? Although she never gets the money.
She cheats. The ref's head gets stuck in like a bucket, and then she leads Meathead over to her corner where Fishman belts him with the
you mean the angel?
Oh, the guardian angel.
Yeah.
But no one can see him. Oh, whatever.
And then the ref... removes his head from the bucket.
IMDb goofs.
Yeah.
But then everyone gets arrested, including our cop friends, because they don't seem to believe them that they are cops, even though they seem to be at like their precinct.
Yeah, which is very strange.
So then all our heroes are just in jail together. Our original pimp guy that was arrested, who got thrown into the washing machine, the friend who now found Jesus,
even Fishman.
Yeah,
somehow.
Fishman. You mean Eddie? Eddie the angel.
Yeah, Eddie the angel.
And it did make me laugh that she starts like strangling him for some reason, and then it cuts away and cuts back, and she's just strangling nothing. It was funny. Okay.
Well, we forgot to mention that somehow this wrestling match is televised.
Yeah, it's underground, and yet it's on TV.
This underground wrestling LA match is televised, and that listen, this was 2002. Maybe he was watching it on Real Player.
Yeah,
and he's like,
it's like buffering.
Could be.
Yeah, he's like, is it gonna load? I don't think Real Player loads. I'm pausing it anyway,
it's like
hoping it'll
320 by 200.
But yeah, director Martini, he sees it.
So yeah, I was like, who is this guy? I recognize him, and he was in the X-Files, and they had that spin-off show called The Lone Gunman.
Oh, was he one of the lone gunmen?
He was the lead guy with the long blonde hair and the glasses. He was like the nerdy guys that...
He looks rough in this movie.
Yeah, I was like, God, is that the guy from Commando? The bad guy, Sully?
No.
Oh, you mean the guy from the Warriors?
Yeah.
No, not that
Even that guy's too big to be in this movie.
No, that guy's way too big to be in this.
Really? All right, whatever.
That guy's recently appeared on the Warriors musical concept album.
The Lin-Manuel Miranda one?
Lin-Manuel Miranda
I listened to half of the first song. But is it good?
So you loved it.
There's only so much Lin-Manuel I can take sometimes, but
it is exactly what you think.
Someone told me it was really good, and one day when I'm in the mood, I will listen to it. But that's neat that he's on that. Why did he make that? I don't know.
Lin-Manuel Miranda?
Is he hoping to turn it into a movie?
Yeah, he wants to make it into a Broadway musical.
Oh, I hope he does.
I don't think it'll happen now, though, because it didn't really pop off.
Well, give it time.
But people love
give it time. Let it mature like
it
Rice
just
Girl
came
10
out,
years from now.
I think it's relatively new.
People love Lin-Manuel.
Yeah,
they love him now.
There's
There's not another artist that has completely burned through most of the goodwill that he had in the last 10 years. Yeah.
Lin-Manuel, I think his issue is he's overexposed.
Yeah,
and people are getting sick of him and his songs.
Yes.
I liked Hamilton though. putting that out there.
And don't look into his dad, who's a good man.
Who's got the dirt and all these people?
There. Yeah. We all love the Mufasa songs, right? We're all humming them.
Oh, the
definitely saw
TikTok
that
and
movie.
Twitter are ablaze with people.
Are they?
No, just people like dunking on the Mufasa.
But yeah, so like
Barry Jenkins is like sitting on his giant pile of money, and he's like, "Was it worth it?"
No, he probably didn't get.
I don't think anyone out there is saying "fuck Barry Jenkins." So he probably came out relatively clean.
That like
it was really sad.
It was really sad. Where he's like, "We tried to do all this stuff, but we
couldn't.
We really could." He's like, "The script was really good." My friend sent me a photo of like Homer and Bart watching the pig fly, and it's like, it's just a little dirty. I'm still an artist.
I'm sure he did try, but
yes,
but it was like
you got to know who you're getting into bed with.
The crux of it was it wasn't really my thing.
Yeah, but it's like, the script is so good, and it's like, but look at what they look like.
Yeah,
you cannot do anything with this.
Just awful.
Anyway,
now would I turn down Mufasa 3? Absolutely, I would be there with bells.
Because but
get Lin-Manuel on the phone.
We're not made of stone,
No,
and maybe he can.
I love money.
Yeah, much like the.
Also, Barry Jenkins had a real kind of like stumble with his Amazon show, Apple show that went super over budget.
Oh,
and this was him being like, "Oh, I want to play ball to show that I can do it."
That was supposed to be good.
What was that show?
I forget what it was called.
Underground Railroad.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But he basically said like, I'm never going to do a Mufasa again.
Oh, okay.
I hope no one does a Mufasa again. One and done, guys.
I mean, there's more stories to be told.
Are there?
I mean, I have not seen the Lion King remake or Mufasa, but yeah.
I've seen the original Lion King, and that's all I need.
How much did it make? Oh, it made $626 million.
What, Mufasa?
Yeah, it did.
I always heard it was like tanking.
Yeah, well, it tanked. Wow, worldwide, it made $200 million more than Sonic 3. So.
Wow, it wasn't nominated for Best Animated Feature. That's
but it
weird.
probably cost
like
$300 million.
The thing about the Lion King and this Mufasa one is like no one likes it.
No.
Right?
Do you hear anybody talking about?
I know a lot of people who had kids who liked the first one, but no one's talking about Mufasa.
Yeah, but the kids don't like it. Like you go and see it, and you're like, ugh.
They would probably much rather watch the original.
Of course, but yeah. Anyway, I know one person who shall not be named who on Facebook was like, "Oh, the new Lion King is amazing. It's just like the original." And so it's like, well, then that's the only reason you like it. If you never saw the original, then you wouldn't have that context. Anyway, we got to finish.
Yeah, but even if you saw the original, you'd be like, "Oh, these musical numbers are very low energy."
I don't know. She liked it. She loved it.
I mean, you know what? I'd rather people like things than not like things.
Sure, why not?
Which brings us to Rice Girl, which we all love. And
yeah. Okay, so the movie is over, and it does a very strange meta thing where we pull out, and they're filming the movie that we're watching.
Yes, in a prison that all I could think about was, Colin, did you ever see the Steven Spielberg directing video game starring Jennifer Aniston?
I know of it.
Okay. Well, the senior directing looks like they shot it.
Was it like On the Lot or something? No, wait. That was something else.
No, it wasn't On the Lot. On the Lot was Steven Spielberg's director's chair.
Right. Okay.
And this looks like the exact same set, the prison set.
It probably
is. They shot it in. So it probably is. And you know what? Rice Girl ended with a smile on my face, thinking of the terrible, terrible game. Quentin Tarantino has been directed by Steven Spielberg.
There you go.
That's I've seen that segment.
I wonder if Joe Estes has.
Has Joe Estes been directed by Steven Spielberg? I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Well, so Rice Girl, she got the role in this movie, which the director's like, the studio is pulling the plug on my movie. We're not even going to get to make it. But yet he's making it anyway. And she also is engaged to the cop now.
Yes.
They're in love. He confesses his love to her. So this is a real wish fulfillment movie for Kat Lang. And I mean, that's why yes, she didn't direct it, but this is a vanity picture.
Yeah,
it's 100% a vanity picture.
She got to make her movie.
That can be fun.
She got to make her movie with huge stars.
Yeah.
Put it on the poster. That can be fun. April Atmansky.
Well, what even is this?
Who knows?
It's a movie about a woman trying to make it in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And you know what? She achieved her dreams. She was in a big Hollywood movie.
Yeah. Just like Laura Dern and Inland Empire.
Yes.
Which this movie is exactly like.
Yes.
Yeah. So
You could insert this movie into Inland Empire and be like, yeah, that tracks.
It would be really
That
funny
makes
to
sense.
intercut them.
I guess it made for a
Like
while.
it's just like another plot in Inland Empire.
Exactly.
Yeah, honestly, there's stuff in Inland Empire that would fit in this movie too. Like it made for a very wild double feature.
Yeah.
I will say. But yeah, this movie is on YouTube, so just search Rice Girl. But as you said, it's on. Is it called Cracked Up?
Yeah,
the
Cracked
YouTube
Up,
channel.
Our new favorite.
Yeah.
It's called Rice Girl, free comedy adventure movie, full HD, full movie Catley.
That's right.
So just search all that and you'll find it.
Yeah. I think that's really all we have to say about that. But that's the movie. If you would like,
We'll be returning soon with Rice Girl Goes to Hollywood.
no, Rice Girl. Wait, isn't that what the name of this movie is?
No, this movie's called Rice Girl.
Oh,
Rice
right.
Girl Goes to Hollywood is
the
the
TV series.
Re-edit of the
TV
series.
series.
Oh boy.
All new footage.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you want to email the podcast, we're at nosuchthingasa@gmail.com. We are on Twitter and Instagram and Bluesky at nosuchthingpod. We're also on YouTube. You can find all our episodes on there. And if you like what you hear, consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/nosuchthingasabadmovie. If you're subscribed at the $5 level, you get a little bonus episode every 2 weeks. And
we'll answer your questions.
Yep. So we also take questions from the audience. And we just recorded an episode on David Lynch, of course, paying tribute to one of our greatest filmmakers, R.I.P. And we talk a lot about his work and more Inland Empire talk on there as well. And if you want to find me, I'm on Bluesky, Instagram, and YouTube at April at Mansky.
You can find me on Bluesky as well, Justin Decloux, Decloux. You can find me on Letterboxd, and you can also listen to me every week on the Important Cinema Club podcast.
You can find me on Bluesky and Instagram, Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
Oh, I like this radio voice you're playing on.
ZIMA.
And that's it for this week. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm April at Mansky.
I'm Justin Decloux.
Colin Cunningham.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.